It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and my wife is shaking me. And she's saying, "What's wrong?" And I looked at her and I said, "Jean, nothing's wrong. What are you talking about?" And she looked at me, didn't respond, picked up the phone and dialed 911. And that is the moment when I knew my wife had gone deaf. So imagine my consternation when the EMTs are trying to strap me onto the gurney. And I hear one of them say, "Major stroke." How can I have a major stroke? I don't smoke, I don't have high blood pressure, I don't eat poorly, I exercise, my weight is good. But I have since found out that 15% of the people who have strokes are like me. They had an arrhythmia in their heart, and mine was undiagnosed, called atrial fibrillation. And when you have AFib, your heart doesn't empty. So some of the blood pools and it clots. And a small clot went up through my subclavian artery and lodged in my brain and asphyxiated brain cells, particularly the ones that I use for fine muscle control in my right hand and for forming words. Jean she could hear me, but she couldn't understand me. It was like she was talking to a German shepherd, right? The animal looks attentive, but the only response it can give is to go woof. Or in my case, off we go to the rehab for 5 weeks. And while they're rolling me down the hall, I look into some of the rooms and I see people just sitting like this, the head down. And I said, that's depression, and I don't want any part of that. Because the only place that you can go from depression is to despair. And I see other people, and they're watching daytime television. My brain is damaged. I'm not going to improve it by watching daytime television. So I meet with the neurologist and the speech pathologist. And they say to me, "We got your CAT scan and we got your clinical workups from the hospital. And we're frankly not really optimistic about your progression." And I said, But they did say, the only way that you are ever going to speak is to take a part of your brain and retrain it. It has to be able to now make words, and it never did that before. So I said, okay, I live on an island. I never wear socks. So I can take the portion of my brain that changes my socks and teach it how to speak words. And the good part of this was I could talk to it. I called it sock breath. And I said, okay, sock breath, let's hear you say neuroplasticity, because that's the process that I was using to reprogram my brain. I spent some time with the speech pathologist, and she started me out making exercises for my mouth. And then making sounds, not words, sounds. And when we got through the session, and I said, "Can I have a copy of that book?" And she goes, "No, but I will make you copies of the pages." So I took them and I went back to my room and I practiced and I studied and I practiced. And guess what? My 5-week stay in rehab ended in a week. not because I was a good student, but because I had stayed fit by maintaining balance and core strength. I had the resilience that I didn't need the physical therapy that many people who have a stroke have to undergo. So I went home and checked into outpatient rehab. And about this time, I got an email from someone who sends me one every day, and about, I don't know, 9,000 other people. And these are always inspirational sayings. And this one really struck me. It was from the valet of Abraham Lincoln. And he said, if it's to be, it's up to me. I like that. If it's to be, it's up to me. So I go to the outpatient rehab, and I met a very, very nice young woman who is going to help me with speech. And she got to the point where, you know, I passed sounds and was saying small words, oh boy, and bigger words, oh man, and then, oh frabjous day, sentences. And she would have me read. And every time I was reading, if I made a mistake, she would say that word 5 times and repeat the sentence. And if I made 2 mistakes, we would do the same things, except now I have to go back to the beginning. And in maybe 6 weeks, we finished the book. And I said, okay, what's now? She goes, nothing. What do you mean nothing? You know, I'm not ready. And she said, there's nothing else I can do for you, because you know how to make the sounds. You know how to make the words. You can only practice yourself. And I started reading aloud everything. The newspaper, my email. And I still, to this day, read to my wife every day. And that process helped. And a friend came in to visit me, and that was wonderful. But I had to get out of there. I had to go out with people. And I contacted my friends in Toastmasters. I had been a member for about 3 years. And how could you not pick them, right? It's an organization that has the tagline, find your voice. What had I lost? I'll go there to find it. And I went there, and it was so nice. There's a young woman named Patricia who every day, she's in the audience now, every Friday morning would be in my driveway to take me to and from the meeting. There was a guy named Paul who every single day would say to me, you sound better than you did last week. And that gave me hope. And that combination of a little bit of love and hope gave me some courage. And I took part in something called table topics. And these are 2-minute speeches on a topic you don't know what it's going to be until you're told. And everybody has a different topic. And it's a little of a contest of sorts. And I won. So I go up and I get my ribbon, and I came back down and I said to the person next to me, Rosemary, I said, this was nice, but it was a mercy vote. And she goes, oh no, it wasn't. You had logic, you were organized, you had reasons for everything you say. You just sound stupid. And I thought to myself, you think I sounded stupid now? You should have heard me when I checked into rehab. And I did sound much better that day. And I sound better today than when I won that ribbon. And I know that I will sound the way used to be if I keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I learned a few things from these things. One is we will all face the vicissitudes of life. Sometimes, hopefully, not as severely as mine, but we'll all too will. And being fit will really increase your resilience. I don't care if we have to do another storm cleanup or you have to get out of rehab because you're fit. That's good. Stay fit, and if you're not, think about becoming that. The next thing that I know is that the people who are part of my life, both friends and family, acquaintances, they gave me emotional and psychological resilience. They helped me to be what I could be. And the last one is from the words of William Johnston. And he taught me to continue to strive. And by the way, I took that quote and I blew it up as big as it could be. And I taped it to my file cabinet so I could see it every time I walked into my office and every time I left. And if you don't know what a file cabinet is, it's a big wooden box made out of oak, and it deals only with a very specific app called paper. Whatever happens to you, whether it's good or bad, what is to be is up to you.